go out your front door. There is so much out there in Jersey, and it's educating people to see the beauty of the island that we've got. And again, it's not just visitors to the island, but locals as well.
Yeah.
A lot of people have probably never visited Elizabeth Castle, and but it's right on the doorstep. It's hard work, but it's knowing that we're doing the right thing for the island, supporting the island and everything that it offers to both locals and visitors to the island.
My guest today is Richard Fail, the owner of VibrantJersey. VibrantJersey promotes local businesses from the hospitality industry, and he also shows to the world what the island has best to offer. We're gonna go straight into it. I want to talk about your beginnings at VibrantJersey and how everything started, because you do a lot for this island. I strongly believe this, but I just want to know how you started this journey.
Well, it all started basically back in 2015 when I was made redundant from the cooperative society. I decided to take a year out of work just to do some networking around the island, really. Just talking to various people, whether they're visiting the island, whether they lived in the island, virtually anybody and everybody. Some people in hospitality, some from shops. So it was across the network, really. And what I gleaned from that, I guess, was that there was something missing in the island. I was asking people, what they found difficult to find in Jersey, what information, visitors to the island, where can we do this? How can we do that? So I came up with a thought, really, and started making notes about what people were asking for. And from that, I made quite a lot of notes and wanted to kind of build a website around that to help people identify the areas where they felt were missing in the island. Fortunately, at the time, I was attending a number of networking events that Claire Boss-Scott, the former CEO of the Jersey Hospitality Association, was running. And I used to go to these events to talk about the Vibrant Jersey and what our aim was. Fortunately, through that, Claire mutually introduced me to a website developer who was actually building his own website at that time. He was looking for somebody with some local knowledge to fill a small section on his website, which was a property-based website, with information about Jersey. And she felt that it would be good for us to get together, have a chat, and see what we could come up with. So we met. He told me all about his website, which, like I said, was a property website, and he had a small section in it called About Jersey, and there's very limited information within that. So I came up with the idea about, I put it to him about how about building a separate website. At that time, we didn't really have a name for it, but we came up with the name of VibrantJersey to try and create some vibrancy in the island, if you like, and then with a section that he had about Jersey, just to fill that with services that were associated with properties like electricians, plumbers, etc., etc. So with the information that I'd collated, we started to build the website, and that started round about 2017, I think it was. So about 2 years after I'd initially done the research, when it was launched. And at the time, it was very basic because there wasn't a lot of information out there. So I took it upon myself to research even further and to try and support the smaller person, if you like, the ones that don't really get noticed, because that was a lot of the feedback that I had when I was doing the networking around the island, that a lot of the small businesses, for example, weren't really heard, weren't really promoted by, as it was back then, Jersey.com. So I thought, well, how can we support this type of business? Obviously, I'd done my research into marketing. I'd spoken to people coming off the ferry and looked at the various marketing options that were out there. And to me, that they just seemed very expensive. And I often wondered that how can a small business afford to pay that sort of money into the marketing, and what benefit they're going to get out of it. So what we decided we wanted to create was an online marketing portal for all sorts of local businesses initially. So they had like a hub, I guess, where they could promote what they did. And it kind of stemmed from there, really, Radu. Starting off with the smaller businesses. And then I think I attended a charity event in 2000. I think it was a Christmas in 2017. And I went to a charity market in the town hall. And I was just walking around the hall and thinking, well, I've never heard of hardly any of these charities. So, what do they do and how do people find out about them? I spoke to Lynn, who was I think she's chairman of the Association of Jersey Charities. And I said, well, how do people find out about what these charities do? So I went around individually to each charity and that I hadn't heard of. And I said, well, what do you do and how do people find out about you? Some of their initial responses, we don't have time to to promote ourselves, or we don't know how to promote ourselves, or we've got a website or we've got a Facebook page, which led me to the question, well, how do people find your website? How do people find your Facebook page? And it got me thinking that, well, what can we do as a business to try and support local charities? So after a few discussions and thoughts, we decided to build a charity page on the website to help raise awareness of the local charities and what they offer. So within the community section of the website, there's actually listings of I think it's about 40 local charities.
Wow.
And what they offer with bespoke pages that we've built for them. And then on the back of that, we'll promote any charity events, fundraising events that are going on to try and increase the awareness of A, the charity, and B, what they do.
Yeah, for people that don't know, like I'm sure like most people, especially on the island, they at least once been on your website. That's no question about it. And most probably of the tourists that come here. But it's very complex. I mean, you help all sorts of areas, when it comes to hospitality. So yeah, as we talked just before we started the podcast, there's not just tourism, because you kind of get involved in other areas, and you also started other projects, not just Vibrant Jersey. If you could give us just a few details about what other events you've got in place. Like I know you were organizing, or you started organizing a couple of years ago, events, in person where these small businesses, can sell their products and, they can promote their businesses, because there wasn't such a thing till that point. How that started, and how are you planning to continue with that in the future? If you could give us a few details about that.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the events, we'd always planned to try and put on different events for different businesses, etc. And I think 2019 we were just about there, and obviously the pandemic then hit us in March 2020. But we thought, well, we don't want this to stop us. Obviously, we weren't able to put on live events, so we came up with ideas of having virtual online events to help raise awareness and help to support the local businesses during that period. I think the first one that we did, we tried to do a music event where musicians could upload their latest tracks. We had lots of prizes from various music companies around the island, and different categories for them to promote their music within. Unfortunately, that didn't transpire as we wanted to. We didn't get huge involvement for whatever reason, but it's something that we may well go back to. We felt that it was a good idea to do that, and that just gave us, I guess, more motivation to make something else work, and just to see what impact it would have on the businesses. So I think I think it was around the September time we teamed up with a local marquee company, and we decided to do a virtual wedding fair. And obviously weddings had been pretty much stopped at that point. So we thought, well, how can people find out about the different wedding services that are on offer for planning their weddings? So we worked together on that, and we created a page on our website with a virtual wedding fair to help support the wedding industry. And we found that had quite a lot of interaction. So and it was all done completely free of charge, just to help support that local industry. And moving on from there, I was approached by a couple of restaurateurs who wanted to do a food festival. Obviously, it would have to be free of charge to do, because there was no guarantee whether the restaurant would be open or closed from one week to the next. So how could we provide something online to support those local businesses and to drive traffic to them during a very difficult period? So I think we got together and didn't realise the amount of positivity that we'd get from the volume of the restaurants. I think we had about 70 that wanted to become involved with it, and building 70 profile pages with all the relevant information took a lot more resource than what we expected, because it was the first time we'd done such a thing. I think it was due to launch on the 1st of September. We weren't able to get it until the 4th or the 5th of September, I think. And we ran that up until the end of October. November. I think it was up until the end of November before the Christmas menus kicked in. Just to help raise awareness what offers were out there for people that could go out and eat, because the restrictions were off and on. But at the time, if they knew what the business could offer, then it gave them an insight into best places to go, etc. So I mean, they were the virtual events, and then similarly, we were hitting the Christmas period, and it was supporting the small businesses mainly through, again, an online portal to raise awareness of what they offer for people looking for Christmas presents locally, and just to help the small businesses on the island to basically stay afloat. The same with the restaurants, like how much that we helped them. I'm not totally sure, but I know we had quite a lot of visits to our website during these periods, which was a great motivational factor to do something in the future and start putting on live events when the restrictions eased. Which our first one we'd done was in 2021, a small business Christmas fair we did at the Pomdor Hotel over two Sundays, and it was the first time that businesses have actually been out to get together, and it created such a wonderful community atmosphere in the hotel that it was quite emotional to see all those businesses actually out displaying their goods for people to buy. And I'm quite an emotional person myself, so and seeing that the volume of people that were coming through the doors was a joy to behold, really, and that was the start of our events, our live events.
And I know you continued the following year.
Yeah, we had another one the following year, which not too long ago now. We're just going to 2023, but we had two in November 2022. We also had a wedding fair that we held at the Radisson Hotel in September, which is very, very well attended. And obviously from these events that we've held, we'll continue to host more. We've got big plans for this year for a wedding festival rather than a wedding fair. A small business festival rather than a fair. It's trying to involve a lot more things within to make the atmosphere even better, and involving the children as well. So
yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, I see your enthusiasm, and I'm pleasantly not surprised. I mean, when I met you, I probably was pleasantly surprised, and I kind of know what to expect. That you put so much passion into these projects, and I don't think, in my honest opinion, I know it's a lot more passion than profit, because you work with small businesses. So there's not. So that's why
we haven't made any profit at all in the small business events that we've put on. In fact, we've probably made a loss, but it's not about the money. It's the passion that I get and the feeling that I get. That motivates me is seeing all the people buying stuff, from local businesses,
engaging and all that.
Yeah, the engagement, the networking between businesses, collaboration between businesses, and that's what it's all about. I mean, it's part of the community that we live in, and seeing that is enough for me. I can't really say any more than that. It's
when it comes to helping businesses, I know you do a lot of promotion for free. You do a lot of that. You also offer paid if someone wants to go a bit more in depth. But do you have what's the onboarding process, and what are the benefits? For, let's say there are some small businesses either watching or listening to this podcast, because we'll be both audio and video. What's the benefit of working or collaborating with VibrantJersey?
I mean, the amount of traffic that we get to the website. Last year we had 120,000 visits to the website.
Wow.
And that increased by 30%, over 30% on the previous year. I mean, I know it's early days for January, but we are already up by 35% on last year. So that obviously bodes well for the future. More people are visiting the website, more people are knowing what we're about and how we can help different businesses at a very low cost. For small businesses, we do like an annual package for them. It's generally based on the pricing of what their products are. If a business is only selling products for £3, £4, then obviously the cost for them is a lot lower, but they get equal amount of space on the website. Whereas in traditional advertising portals, you can't do that. You pay for the space. Each package, the business will have a promotional post by us every month. They'll get priority invitation to our events. They'll get discounted pitch costs, and so on and so forth. And we try and work with them to improve and grow their business together. Because by growing their business, it grows ours, obviously.
Yeah.
So that's a mutual benefit that we have. So I mean, there's a lot to it in that respect.
What's the best way for a hospitality business to advertise themselves, like in today's day and age? Because do you think that, for example, like me talking about the local businesses, Jersey Evening Post, radio ads are still relevant, or they should move a bit more towards online marketing? How do you see it?
I think that's a difficult question because a lot of businesses are kind of set in their ways to a certain example that once they've started advertising through a particular portal, they'll continue to do so and trying to prove to them that online is far more reachable. You can target various markets. Whereas the other portals, you can't really do that. You can provide figures of visits that they've had and so much more information that you can give them about how their business is performing through the website and how much traffic that they're getting.
Yeah.
Without doing some kind of a special offer through the traditional portals, it's difficult to monitor that. But I think it's good for a hospitality business to market themselves across as many different portals
I agree.
as they can, because by hearing or seeing a certain business, the more frequently you see it, the more it's in your mind. And you hear some of the ads on the radio that you wouldn't forget because they're on all the time. So it's like subliminal that you're going to hear it. But yeah, it's what we offer is a low cost platform.
Value for money, basically.
Well, absolutely. And and if something's not working through our website, then we will do all that we can to make it work. We'll try something else, and it's working what they want to get across. We'll work with them to be able to do that. I say, if something doesn't work, then we'll try something else, and no additional cost, because we want it to work for them.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, you want to grow together, so it's a benefit on both sides.
Yeah.
Also, it's in the end, it's value for money the way I see it. With, don't know, let's say £100, you get pretty much to the whole jersey. If it's not necessarily important to get to the whole jersey, but to get to the right people, to get in front of the right people, and you can measure that, which, it's really, really important, because otherwise, you just kind of like shoot in the air without knowing like what's your target.
And so many people search for things online now. So the more of a presence you've got online, the more likely you are to be found.
What keeps you motivated on doing this? Because it's definitely not easy, and it's hard to change people's minds.
It is. It's hard work, but it's knowing that we're doing the right thing for the island, supporting the island and everything that it offers to both locals and visitors to the island, and just having that passion to seeing people succeed, and getting the gratitude and the thanks from people. Knowing that we've genuinely helped them. It was only a couple of months ago. I know I've mentioned before that we support local charities, and I had, over the Christmas period, I had a letter from the government thanking us for contributing towards one of the charities, and we also, I've got another one. A thank you from Youthful Minds, a young charity, obviously supporting the younger generation with their mental health, which is a huge thing in the island at the moment. And it's getting things like that and getting thanks, and we've really helped us. That drives me forward, and again, knowing that I'm doing the right thing for the island through VibrantJersey and our social media network. The Facebook groups are growing and growing. It's sort of like reaching about 35 to 40,000 people every month through our social media network. So that's
a lot. Yeah.
That's just one of the pages. We've got a few others as well. So that reach obviously grows through those pages as well. And you see the comments that people write on there. Most of it is very positive. Okay, yes, I know you get a few negative ones, but you're never going to be able to please everybody. But we're genuinely here to help support the industry and everything that there is available to do in Jersey. You hear from so many people there's never anything to do, but go out your front door. There is so much out there in Jersey, and it's educating people to see the beauty of the island that we've got and to enjoy it.
What does Jersey need to do in order to grow this sector, tourism or even hospitality? Is there something that can be done? Because I don't feel like this is necessarily a priority here on the island, but that's my feeling. You are a lot more rooted into it, but I just don't feel like it's necessarily a priority. There's a big financial services sector, and we kind of like, the state more or less gets their money from there, and hospitality or tourism or whatever, they kind of left behind. That's how I kind of see this, but correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, I know that Visit Jersey have invested a large amount of money into marketing the island offshore, which is great to see. Obviously, we've got a new government that recently. And hopefully that they will be more proactive in promoting the island for the benefit of local businesses. One thing that's always struck me as odd, really, is that there's no real air links from France, and we're closer to France than what we are the UK. Obviously, there's a reason there that I'm not aware of. But wouldn't it be great to have the air links from France? I mean, we have a couple of links from Germany during the summer period, but maybe a few more.
Especially when the ferries are not that reliable.
Well, exactly. If everyone's relying on either coming across by the ferry from Europe or flying into Gatwick or Heathrow in London, and then a connecting flight out to Jersey, which obviously limits the amount of people that are going to visit the island.
Yeah, makes it complicated.
It does. You can't just rely on one method of transport, a ferry from St Malo. So I think that one of those, if anything could be done to try and open up more travel links, then that would be great.
Would you say that that's what's holding us back? Or that's just one of the problems?
I think it's one of it. I mean, pre-pandemic, I'm aware that I think it was in 2019, we had our highest number of visits to the island since 2001. So there was an increase in volume of visitors to the island. And unfortunately, with the pandemic, obviously that curtailed that. But hopefully we can start going back to those heights and start targeting different types of visitors to the island. I mean, obviously back in the 70s, it was kind of known as the Bucket and Spade Brigade. People were going to the beaches. But now there's so many travel links open to Europe, your Spain, your Portugals, there's more choice, there's more flights there. So it's trying to encourage maybe a different type of visitor to the island, somebody that enjoys their history. I mean, we've got a multi-layered history that dates back to the Stone Age, and it's all within 9 by 5 miles. So it's not as if you need to travel a lot. There's a lot of great places for walking, for cycling, and fitness in general. And there are so many things to do and see over here if you look for them. And obviously one of the aims of our website is to provide that information for people. And again, it's not just visitors to the island, but locals as well.
Yeah.
A lot of people have probably never visited Elizabeth Castle, and then it's right on the doorstep. So things like that.
I mean, you talk about the 70s, briefly. What would you say is the difference between hospitality / tourism now comparing to what it was back in the day, like the tourism do you remember when you were, let's say, younger?
I'm not sure if I can remember that far back, really. I mean, it was you look at the beaches, and I said that it's like everyone used to go to the beach. They still do. I mean, even a few years ago, I went to Bournemouth because my mother still lives in Bournemouth, and my sister was there with her two children, and we went to the beach in Bournemouth Beach, and my sister just couldn't settle because she was constantly watching her children in case that they vanished, if you like. You come to Jersey, you look at the beaches at Jersey, and you don't get that. You don't need that. It's such a safe place to go. Obviously, you need to keep an eye on your own children, don't get me wrong, but you don't need to be, have them within 5-10 yards of you. And I guess getting Jersey back to that kind of a level would be great to see. Obviously, the expense of coming to the island may prevent some of those when they can go to beaches across the continent for probably less money. Maybe something could be done with the costs. I don't know.
It's something obvious that I'm going to say now, but you can just build as much. You can just do as much, and everything, as soon as you have something that scarce, the price will go up. I mean, there's something it's not rocket science. So that's, I guess, when it gets more complicated. But okay, so we're trying to bring tourists in. But how about the issues we've got with hotels closing down? Because, we're trying to increase the figures and get everything, back on track. But for the past years, there were quite a few hotels that closed down. How are we going to survive this trend? Because it's more or less a trend now.
Well, I think the hotels, I think there are still quite a lot of hotels on the island. But back in the day, you didn't have the volume of self-catering accommodation that you've got now. Airbnb didn't exist, so these other kinds of accommodation together with, obviously we've got a couple of, 3 campsites that I'm aware of that are always full. So it's, I guess there's different types of accommodation available now that wasn't available back then. But yeah, again, it's sad to see some of the hotels going. Maybe the costs of running them is too high. And again, I know we keep going back to the pandemic, but that had a heavy impact on our tourism industry, and a lot of businesses weren't able to recover from that. I think we're only just starting to recover now, and then we've got a recession, just around the corner.
Yeah.
So
you just it's going up, and then it hits you back.
Yeah, it seems to be one thing after another. So there is a lot of self-catering accommodation on the island, as well as some of the hotels, the old hotels as well.
So I guess our focus would be keep these busy. Keep these busy, bring people in, keep the tourists happy, and let's just put Jersey on the map, basically.
And it's bringing them back. It's not just a one visit.
I agree.
It's making sure that they gain the maximum benefit from their visit here, so that they want to come back. I speak to tourists that come over to the island, and ask them how they found Jersey, whether they enjoyed it, anything that they found difficult to find, and things like that. Obviously they've heard of sort of like the bigger attractions, but a lot of the little ones that a lot of people now sort of like tend to go for the community type events. Not just our fair, but there's the Gory Fair and the Half Past Seaside Festival and things like that, which is more of a community gathering, and little charity fairs and things like that the people want to see, to get a true feel of the island, and there's obviously a lot of genuine Jersey products available, souvenirs and things as well. So one of the organisations we work with is St Brelod's Language School. So obviously they attract a lot of young youngsters over from various places across the continent, and we used, myself and my partner, we used to host students prior to the pandemic, and we used to form a great relationship with them, still in contact with them, and they all love Jersey, and now they know more about it, then they're more open to come back and see more of it for themselves, without doing the learning side of it. So it's great to promote the island in these European countries.
What I like about you, it's the fact that you ask for feedback. You go and talk to people. You go and kind of like take feedback, constructive feedback, and make changes, adjust, and all that. Same with the website. You were telling me that you want to ask people what they want to see, how should we improve, and all that, and that's great. But do you think that, you do basically, the way I see it, you kind of do the job that probably government of Jersey should do? Do you think? do you think that the government of Jersey do enough, or is just my impression that they could do a lot more?
I don't think that's in there. What they're set up to do is to drive the traffic to the island, which is what their primary focus is. Once people are here, then it's generally down to them and individual businesses to promote themselves, which is obviously where we come in, because we can offer that to them, and that's how I see things at the moment.
If you have the power, let's say is there such a thing here as a Minister of Tourism? I don't know I don't really know the structure. I never really got to the point that I understand it, because coming from Romania is different, and I think some of the ministers, they do like 2 or 3 things, because obviously it's a small island. But how does it work? Is it, if let's say you have the power, whichever has the biggest power in this industry, from the government, what would be the first 3 things, or even like 1 that you would change right away?
Listen to people. listen to the local people.
Coming back to feedback, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. You can't possibly know everything. I mean, I'm not a local myself. Okay, I've been here for 25 years now, but I'm not a local. But there is so much local passion for the island that's out there. Yes, I know there's some negativity towards the island, but there's a lot of passion for it, and it's a reasonably safe place to be. So I think I'm not sure about the structure of Visit Jersey, but I think that I know that the Jersey Hospitality Association are restructuring it.
Yeah, but that's something that it kind of started recently.
It is recently, yeah. To have a voice from each different commodity group within the sector. So it's not just about hotels, it's about restaurants and attractions. So you've got a person from each subcategory that feeds into the JHA, who then are the voice for Visit Jersey, and hopefully that feedback will get listened to and acted on. Because that can only help.
Yeah, I mean, you just need to kind of like get feedback and just make it work, I guess, because it probably doesn't work as it should at this point.
No, I mean, I've tried to contact Visit Jersey a few times previously, and I've had no response, and
what message you've got for them if they watch this podcast or they listen to it?
To work with us.
Yeah,
to work with us. Yeah,
collaborate. We're stronger together.
Absolutely. That's I think that's a good message to have, and one that's now seems to be prevalently used. That it's the same with anything. Going back to the small businesses, one small business on its own is not going to be as strong as a unity of them. You get a dozen of them together, then they're a stronger unit. They start collaborating together, makes them even stronger, and that's how it should be across the whole of the sector, in my opinion. Businesses need to start working with each other rather than against each other. Okay, they're in competition, but that's healthy.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you're trying to do good. That's obvious, and I think someone from the government, if they want to do the same, I definitely think they should join. You guys should join forces and just try to help businesses, promote the island, and everything you do. It's funny because I went on your website yesterday. I mean, it's not first time I'm there, because every now and then, you want information, and the first thing it comes on Google. Eventually, I still get to you if it's something Jersey related.
Yeah. So, we get there eventually.
Even if, let's say, I'm not going Vibrant Jersey, it doesn't need to be. But
not anymore. It doesn't. No. Yeah. I mean, obviously, when it first started, then you needed to do that, but because of the content that we've now got on the website. I mean, we've even got a local community page now with local people promoting the island with their favourite place to eat, favourite place to stay.
Who are your partners? I mean, I've seen on the website you've got a few companies there, to say the most, but who are these people, that where you find basically understanding? Because I've seen that you do have some on the website. If I remember well, one of those like Condor Ferries. Yeah. And there was like something else. I can't remember now. I have a really short memory. But who's helping you basically in this journey?
Well, yeah, like you said, we have Condor Ferries who fantastically actually contacted us to ask if they could be added to our website, which obviously for such a large company as them and being one of the only modes of transport to get here was great. We also work with Freedom Holidays with a self-catering accommodation, and that's now the most visited page on the website, possibly because of that reason that we work together. We also work with, obviously, like I mentioned, St Bernard's College. Mm-hmm. We work with Go Jersey as a tourism travel agent in the UK.
Oh yeah, I was going to say what Go Jersey does.
Who promote obviously travel to the island as well. So we work in tandem with them. Jersey Heritage, we promote everything that Jersey Heritage do, and through the events calendar, all the events that are going on that Jersey Heritage do, which is it's great that people visit. I mean, events calendar is the second most visited page, potentially because of that, for that reason. That the information is on there for people to find. We've just added another section. I don't know if you noticed it yesterday. We've added a section on the menu now for the frequently asked questions. So looking at the top 20 most asked questions.
Yeah, but you go and that's the thing about it. That's why I said I like about you, because you would go and ask people.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's powerful. I mean, it's not like guessing,
No.
or you have like a few emails here and there. It's a combination of like in person and also, emails. And I like that about it.
I
And
talk to people, it's and that's how we learn, by talking and listening to people. I mean, the top 20 most asked questions, who knows what they are? So, the research that we're doing at the moment will identify a majority of that. I mean, one of the most, I think we only listed a couple at the moment, but one of those is about what goes on in the island, what's happening in the island, where can I find out information of what's going on. And it's not just about the big events like the Battle of Flowers or the air display. It's about the small community fairs, and like they're having Groover, or they're having Gory, or the little tabletop markets that they have, little things like that that there's no budget for advertising those events.
how do you get to this information? I mean, because although I live in Jersey, it's a small place, if let's say if it's not on a website, if it's not on Facebook, and I rarely ever know like where that information comes from. How do you find it? Probably before like most people do.
That's how I spend my Sundays. Obviously, there's some organisations that have the regular events, things like Jersey Heritage and like the Arts Centre. Hopefully, when the Opera House opens,
but that's a bit more obvious. But how do you find the ones that are a bit more like?
I search for them.
Yeah,
I search for them. Yeah.
Do you have people coming?
People start sending me events. Can you promote this for us? And no problem. I mean, last week there was a tea dance, for example, at Trinity Hall. Who would have known that was going on?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
And little dancing events and things like that nobody ever hears about unless you're in that circle. So it's by promoting such things like that through our website that it grows the awareness of them. The tea dance last week was to try and raise money for the families in Ukraine, as well as local people.
Wow.
So hopefully by us promoting it, has gained certainly more awareness of it going on, and hopefully that's benefited lots of people. And it's a small events that there's a lot of people, a lot of organisations out there, a lot of charities out there that don't really know how to market their events.
That's where VibrantJersey comes in place.
And this is where we come in to help them do that, help to get a wider reach of these events.
I mean, the way I see it, I mean, I know it might be, obviously I don't have any power here in Jersey or anywhere.
Not even in your own home.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I do now because my wife is not home. The way I see it, it's the collaboration between you and Visit Jersey. They could take care of like the big things, international promotions and all these, where like big monies, need to be invested. But to give you the chance, I mean, you kind of do it on your own already, but to kind of support you to take care of these like small events.
I mean, they have their own brief, I guess, of what they need to do. But I mean, I've had meetings with the arts department, with the government who wanted to promote their arts events through the website, but I haven't heard anything since. So it's,
it sounds promising at the beginning, but you kind of get lost.
It's a similar with the music events. I've been approached by Jersey Music Association that have approached me about doing something similar with them, but it hasn't got any further than that. I mean, we're keen to do it. We're happy to do it, but you need to provide us with the information. I mean, we look at even the local bands that are playing. A lot of people come to the island that they like local bands. Go to see a local band play in the pub. But there's only a few pubs that actually promote the fact that they have live music on.
Oh yeah, that's true. I mean, I remember. I think it was on your website that I found, or it must have been on your Facebook page or something. Yeah, because my wife, she every now and then she's like, oh, let's go in where is live music. I'm like, I have no idea where live music is. I mean, I know Subway was doing it for a while and probably still do it. But other than that,
not now that they're closed. They're open again in February.
Oh, okay. All right then, yeah. I mean, I was there for New Year's and that's it. From there, I kind of lost track of what's going on. Do we focus a lot on tourism from April to, I don't know, October, or what would be the time when it kind of dies down? Probably October, I would say.
Yeah.
Do we focus like the state, or not necessarily the state, like in general, probably businesses? Do we focus a lot on that and we forget about what's for the locals, do you think? Because I feel like there is a bit of that.
Yeah, I mean, January, to be fair, is generally quite a quiet month anyway. For events, I mean, I think it's the Wassail that's on today. I think it's the National Trust. I'm not sure whether it's National Trust or Jersey Heritage that are doing that. But yeah, the tourism season tends to generally start from Easter, doesn't it? April time, and then generally finishes September, October. People are looking for cheaper deals in October, and then we look at October and we look at staycations, don't we? For local people that want to stay in a hotel, have an overnight stay, meal,
a better price,
for a better price, and that's something that.
What's your take on the Jersey Hospitality Association? Is it a good thing? Is it something that's gonna change a lot, or I mean, I guess it's a wishful thinking, from my side, to kind of like wish that they will do well and they will solve problems that not being solved for years and years. But is this a good thing for the island?
If they work together, yes.
Yeah, it's all about that.
It's all about working together and uniting together in that one voice to the government. Because I mean, everybody from each individual sector sees things in a different way. Everyone needs the support. More so, I'd say that the smaller businesses. I mean, you think of your beachside diners, your small businesses like the shacks and places like that.
They don't have a voice.
Not really, not at the moment.
They don't. Yeah.
You call it casual dining, I believe, don't you? Is a category. So if you've got somebody as a representative from casual dining to represent their sector and be a voice within the Jersey Hospitality Association, and that just makes you stronger. You come back to that message, stronger as one, don't you? And hopefully that will be the case. The government will listen to what they say and act on it.
Yeah. How do you see the future of Jersey tourism? Is it gonna get worse before it's gonna get better, or how do you see it in your opinion? And not tourism and hospitality in general, because I keep bouncing in between tourism and hospitality.
It's a difficult one, really, because I mean, over the last few years, people have tended, because of what's been going on in the world, to spend any disposable income on their properties. There's been a huge rise in people doing that, spending on their homes and the outdoor space that they've got. Now that there's more freedom to travel, I guess there is the potential to have those, quite a few visitors this year. But then on the downside of that, you've got to look at the cost of living and how much that has changed over the last year, with hikes in prices across the Europe. So it's a difficult one to call. There's going to be more disposable income to a certain extent that's not affected by the cost of living increases. It's a balance. So I think it'd be a good year to gauge where we're going to be in the following year, for sure. Once we come out of that recession.
I talked to Tom Radiger from Sunfire, and we were talking about prices, because I was kind of asking him, what goes into the job of a head chef, and then from there we went to pricing and all that, and people kind of complaining about it. But in the end, we are on an island, so that's already, it can be a benefit, but depending on how you see it, ingredients, most of them are coming from abroad, and he was saying that the price of all the ingredients went up extremely.
But does somebody need to look at the sourcing of products? I mean, I know the JHA have got a category that covers the supply chain. which I think is the only category we don't really cover through the website.
Yeah.
But that's my background. So it's the only category that we don't cover, and yet that's my background.
Well, that's literally the whole skeleton of this industry, because if they don't deliver, good luck cooking, good luck serving, good luck. And I think it was a bit overlooked, and probably they will look into this, as a more of a like including this, into this whole structure, because without them, when even the shops you see, like ferry is not going for a few days and everything is empty, but then it's not enough. The ferry is not delivering to the restaurant. Ferry is not delivering to, in some situations, depending, I guess, on how, but they don't deliver directly. So you need these other companies that help in the chain.
You've got your wholesalers. I mean, do the restaurants order direct from the supplier, or do they order through a wholesaler? Yeah. Obviously, ordering through a wholesaler is going to increase that cost.
Yeah.
If they were to order direct from the supplier, maybe unite as one to do that, then they get better terms.
I find, that there's going to be
collaboration.
But that's a competitive. You see, I see a problem with that. You see, I remember. I mean, I don't know how it's now. Maybe they are in better terms. But I remember like working at the Royal Yacht. So every now and then they would all meet, because it's just occasionally, they would meet because it just happened to be all in the same time. The reps, the sales reps, and they're all like kind of like trying to kill one another.
Yeah.
So because it's business, but I really hope that there is a way around it, to kind of understand that in certain areas we are competing, but when it's in all our benefit, to kind of work together. I'm not sure that's gonna be, I think, a harder one than competition between restaurants, because that's not that crazy here.
No. I mean, I know we've got a lot of restaurants in Ireland, but each one offers their own uniqueness.
Yeah,
there's no two that are the same.
Exactly.
So it's, I don't know, but I think you've got to look at costs of buying direct rather than through a wholesaler.
Yeah.
And if you have a few businesses that work together to split that cost. Don't know whether it's feasible or not.
Yeah, I wish to. Well, I'm sure that at some point, I'll send a few invites probably in the coming time, and get someone from the wholesale industry, to tell us about pricing, to tell us about the challenges they've got, because it's something that I'm really interested in, because I never really, not that I never respected them, because definitely it is not the case, but you kind of take that for granted when you just expect that all deliveries to be there before you start cooking.
It's not easy. I've worked.
So
I've worked there. Yeah. Not for too long, but long enough to learn, to understand. And it's a very, very competitive market. Very competitive over here.
Yeah. Well, that's why.
Everyone's fighting over a small piece of the
exactly. So that's going to be very challenging to put them on the same page and explain them that in certain areas there is common interest, and then after that you can fight over whatever you need to fight. Competition is still good, as you said, but I think we need to
work together.
Yeah, because
there's enough room over on the island for how many wholesalers are 3 or 4 wholesalers on the island. There's plenty of business for all of them.
Yeah, I'm sure that.
Yeah, so it's you work together.
Yeah, I think that that'll be good if that is something like that can happen, because I do believe that a lot of places would benefit. I mean, I'm talking businesses, that they depend on the wholesaler, because they should, in theory at least, they should be able to get better prices. They should be able to offer better services, I think. But we'll see how that goes. But it's a good thing that they've been included. I agree. That's such a good thing.
The wholesaler is relying on supply from the UK mainly, and you have the boats cancelled, then that puts all that out, or the lack of availability on one line is going to increase the sales on another line that kind of counteracts each other, and it's a difficult market, and obviously it's short coded product as well.
Yeah.
The fresh meats.
Well, exactly. I mean, you're talking about that with fresh ingredients. I mean, Tom, that I talked to him, earlier from Sunfire, he was saying that it's challenging, because obviously, if let's say the ferry is not working, you order something, if it's not coming in 2-3 days, that's perishable already.
Yeah.
So
before it even gets
here.
here.
Yeah, before it even gets here.
And then
So-
who picks up the cost of
Exactly. So then when you go to the restaurant, you're like, oh, this is expensive. Well, it's because you probably pay for that as well. But that's in general. It's not that some restaurants are doing something wrong. And I'm not defending restaurants' prices because probably some of them, they shouldn't probably even be on the market in certain situations. Okay, they don't do that good of a job. But for those that do and they're fair with pricing, it's hard. It's hard to stay afloat.
Yeah.
I agree. All right then. What are Richard Fail's plans when it comes in, like whether short term, medium term, long term, or just give me a brief understanding. I'm talking professionally.
All right, not going home having a nap or anything. So, I mean, we want to grow the business and to help as many local charities, businesses, and people. I mean, one of the things that we do support is local musicians and local artists, and we have profile pages on the website for that purpose. I mean, musicians are limited to where they can play on the island because of licensing laws. Artists, they're limited to where they can display their work. And some of the work that I've seen is incredible. It deserves to be shown. So, I mean, potentially in the future, we could look at maybe putting on art events or music events, looking at something maybe when the Opera House reopens to put on something for local.
When
local
it reopens, it's been closed for ages.
It's been
right?
closed for ages. It's waiting for investment. I'm not sure when.
Is that private
it's planned.
or is state?
I think the states are going to fund. I think the states were funding it. I'm not 100% sure on that.
It doesn't really matter. They just need to.
They needed. The Opera House needed funding, and that was a great venue to go. Great venue. I mean, whenever I went there to see shows, and that, it was always packed.
I went a few times.
Yeah, and I mean, the Arts Centre is another one. So it's supporting as many people, businesses, and the community as possible over the next few years, growing the brand, and looking to put on as many different events. Maybe we want to do like a lifestyle health event. To promote well-being in the island.
There's so many ways you can branch this
exactly
in all sorts of direction.
It's to support anybody and everybody, and just to raise awareness of the volume of services that we have on island that people would not necessarily know about. So it's like I guess a one-stop site for everything, it's the hub where you can go to find out whatever information that you want, and I guess that's the long-term goal. I mean, recently we started listing sports, so local sports and sports clubs that you wouldn't know about.
I'm terrible at these, but I'm sure there are a ton.
Well, if you don't know about them, then how can you?
Yeah, how we will ever probably
out?
may start a certain sport, let's say. Because that probably helps as well, like knowing that there is a club. I don't know. I mean, there's just an example, like football is probably everywhere, but there are certain areas, that probably they are a bit more obscure. That if you don't promote them or you don't show them to the world, they will never know they even exist.
Well, exactly. Apart from within that small hub, so we sent out an email to a lot of different organisations to offer them a profile. On profile page on the website to raise awareness of what they offer, and hopefully that will encourage more young people to get active, get into sports. I mean, it doesn't have to be a physical sport as such. I mean, I don't know if you ever played table tennis, but I mean, I wouldn't categorise that as being a hugely active sport. But little things like that, and you got your petanque and bowls and all sorts of things that are out there. So snooker, your billiards, and it's raising awareness of this. And once we've got the lifestyle section on the website, we'll link to these sports as well. So and then support the local mental health charities such as Mind, Youthful Minds, the Recovery College, and people like that are there to support and show what they do.
For people that want to find out more about you and what you do, or maybe get in touch with you if, let's say, there are small businesses listening or watching this and be like, you know what, Richard convinced me. I'm gonna contact him, and I want him to basically get my business, out there. Where can they find you?
Oh, they can certainly find us on Facebook.
Because I know you're in all sorts of places. What would be ideal,
I mean, Facebook and email obviously are the best two portals that we use. And I have this philosophy that I will answer every single email within 24 hours.
Do you want to share an email address with us?
Unless I'm strictly ill, where I can't do that, But yeah, I respond to every single email. Whether I feel it's relevant or not. And I've had some that I haven't felt relevant that I've responded to for that purpose. I've had one recently from a local business about they do local maps, and can we work together doing local maps? Yeah.
Wow. You mean like maps, like
maps
paper?
Maps of the island,
okay.
different maps of the island. Yeah.
Oh.
I've been approached by a chap that wanted to do the parish walks. So each parish, you've got a set of different walks that you can do, and it's things like that. So it's great.
There's always something.
Great. There's always something. So get in contact. Email address is info@vibrantjersey.je, or find us on Facebook, as they say most frequently. We'll answer every single message that we got. Interesting. We had one yesterday that so somebody had lost their phone. They lost their phone at one of the properties that we've got on the self-catering website. So they contacted us to see if we could help. Obviously, we don't rent the properties ourselves, but we do it through Freedom. So we contacted Freedom Holidays and found their phone for them. So
if you lost your phone in Jersey, contact
us. I don't want that many. No. But it's if we can help in any particular way, then we'll do it. We've had emails from groups in Germany wanting to know about any open gardens that are on. So we work with another charity, the Jersey Youth and Friendship Group, who have the open gardens during the summer, which I guess a lot of people don't know about. But the tourist group in Germany wanted to know about them, so we put them in touch, and I know they came over last year and visited one of the gardens. So that's great.
It was a success there, like from beginning to end.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, it's nice to have these kind of stories, because you get involved and you see the results. Yeah, it's a shame that, I really hope that if there is anyone at Visit Jersey, if listening or watching this, they come to not necessarily better terms, because I don't think they are, your enemies, but
the way we want to see it is that we're not competing with
exactly.
them. Our focus is to try and help support, and that'd be great if it was mutual.
Yeah,
because we can support them and they can support us. And that helps everybody.
Yeah,
you've got that unity as one. We both have different briefs. They've got the budget, we haven't. But
you've got the willingness to help.
Absolutely, and we invest in things, for the benefit of the island as well. So it's
absolutely. Listen, Richard, it was a great chat. Honestly, I really enjoyed it, and I'm sure we could go for hours and hours. But great talking to you. Right. I'm sure we'll see you in the future for other podcasts. And all the best.
Well,
show what Jersey has to offer.
Thanks for the invite.
No problem. Anytime. Thank you.
Thanks. Cheers, Bradley.